Welcome to Flying Talkers broadcast.
You give us 5 to 7 minutes, and we give you the world. Today's program is brought to you by Kali Logistics Solutions. Kali Logistics Solutions is a global leader that delivers cloud-based technology solutions for the logistics industry. The company provides a suite of software solutions for various logistics processes, including air, maritime, and freight logistics. Kali's flagship product, the Cargo Community Platform, offers a single source of data to support operational flows and facilitate the paperless exchange of trade-related data between stakeholders. The company has offices in India, UAE, Kenya, Netherlands, Malaysia, Republic of Congo, Colombia, South Africa, Japan, Canada, and the USA. Kali Logistics Solutions is engaged with over 5,500 clients in 40-plus countries and is recognized for its innovative use of artificial intelligence within its products. And now today's program with Tej Mayur Contractor.
Today, we're talking about a pretty big moment for India in global logistics. At FIATA's World Congress in Hanoi, 2 Indian delegates landed top leadership roles. And one headline in particular, Tej Mayur Contractor from the Federation of Freight Forwarders Associations in India was elected Vice President of FIATA.
That seat coming back to India after 25 years is not small.
Yeah, it's one of those wins that looks symbolic at first, but it actually changes how visible India's freight community is when global standards and policies get decided. And Tej Contractor isn't just walking in with a title. He's walking in with an agenda.
Let's get into that agenda. When someone becomes FIATA Vice President, the obvious question is, what do you even do first? What's priority number 1?
He frames it in a really practical way. He basically says global standards can't stay in the good idea, maybe later bucket. They need to become the default for everyone, not just the biggest forwarders with the most resources.
So not nice to have, but must have. And he breaks his focus into 3 areas, right?
Exactly. First, digital interoperability. The idea is simple. If documents and systems don't talk to each other across borders, trade slows down and smaller players get locked out. He highlights FIATA's electronic bill of lading, the EFBL, and the push to make it usable at scale so forwarders, especially in India, can plug into global shipments without friction.
I like that phrase, plug into, because in freight, if you're not connected to the digital flow, it's like you're forced to operate with one hand tied behind your back.
Totally. Second priority, skills and capacity building. He's blunt about it. India has massive potential, but there's a readiness gap in the workforce. So the mission is to use FIATA's platform to elevate Indian voices, bring in stronger training pathways, and build a pipeline of next-gen freight professionals.
And third, this one matters a lot, making sure smaller forwarders aren't left out.
Right, inclusive global access. Not everyone is a large multinational forwarder. India has a huge base of MSME logistics providers, and contractors' point is, they often carry the weight of changes, new compliance, new tech, new reporting, while the biggest companies capture the upside faster.
That's a real tension in logistics. Okay, shifting from priorities to the big global topics FIATA is working on, what are the main international initiatives on the table right now?
He points to 2. One is still the EFBL, because it's not just a PDF version of a paper document. It's about issuing negotiable multimodal bills electronically in a way that builds trust and cuts cost, with secure tracking and verification. The second is broader trade facilitation, digital logistics, cross-border data sharing, smoother multimodal connectivity.
So trade isn't only about goods moving anymore, it's about data moving, and people believing that data.
That's his exact vibe. And he says India's role is strengthening because India is building national digital rails for logistics. Platforms like ULIP, plus increased API-style integration with customs and logistics systems, make India a place where digital freight practices can be tested and scaled.
And that helps India bring here's what works on the ground examples into global standard setting. Because the Indian context, like inland movement, last-mile complexity, multimodal corridors, can be very different from, say, a purely port-centric system.
Exactly. Now, he also lays out a 5-year vision for FIATA that's very geopolitics aware.
Which it has to be. Disruptions aren't rare anymore. They're routine. So what does he want FIATA to become in that kind of world?
He basically wants FIATA to act like the stabilizing compass for forwarders, helping the industry respond with planning instead of panic. Because global trade corridors are changing. We're seeing more regional routes and new corridor ideas, and each one brings opportunity but also complexity.
And when you add conflict zones, sanctions, tariff battles, bottlenecks in key waterways, it's not just a shipping problem, it's a compliance and risk problem.
Exactly. His answer is, build resilience with better risk mapping, stronger coordination across regional associations, and more digital documentation so the system doesn't freeze every time there's tension at a border or a choke point. He also mentions looking beyond the usual markets, Africa, Central Asia, Latin America, if the corridors and connectivity improve.
Let's come back home for a second. India has the National Logistics Policy, plus big initiatives like PM Gati Shakti. When people hear policy, they sometimes think it's all theory. What's he saying about what's actually changed on the ground?
He calls the National Logistics Policy a major milestone, because it lines up with what forwarders have wanted: lower logistics costs, better global ranking performance, and a data-driven logistics ecosystem. And he says you can see the momentum: digitized clearances, more standardization, and ministries coordinating more.
But he doesn't pretend it's perfect.
Not at all. He says the last mile still feels fragmented, too many systems, too many stakeholders, inconsistent enforcement. And for air and sea forwarding, there's still a need for real multimodal integration, fewer handoffs, and smoother one-window type clearances. The goal to cut costs to global benchmarks is possible, he says, but only if execution and adoption catch up with the policy vision.
Speaking of air freight, he gets pretty specific about airports. What's holding Indian air cargo efficiency back?
He boils it down to three things: capacity, connectivity, and coordination. Capacity meaning freighter slots and throughput constraints at major gateways. Connectivity meaning the terminal might be fine, but the last mile access, truck docks, cold chain, mechanized warehousing, can lag, creating dwell time.
And coordination is the classic pain point. Airlines, customs, handlers, trucking, everyone working in their own lane.
Exactly. He says when data and scheduling aren't harmonized, you get these long handoffs, like 48 hours instead of 12, and cost just quietly piles up. His bigger vision is that airports need to be treated like ports of the future: digital gateways, more mechanization, 24/7 operations, less manual intervention, and clear visibility on costs.
Okay, let's talk people. Because you can build corridors and platforms all day, but if the workforce isn't ready, nothing scales. He's also involved with the Indian Institute of Freight Forwarders, IIFF. What's the plan there?
He says talent is one of the biggest bottlenecks. And the industry now needs professionals who are digitally fluent and globally aware, not just operationally experienced. Through IIFF, he talks about modular learning, basically short focus courses across domains like customs, IT, multimodal operations.
And also apprenticeships, right? Because logistics is one of those industries where you can't learn everything from a slide deck.
Exactly, industry placements where students work with member companies, earn a stipend, and become job ready. Plus certification in alignment with global training frameworks, including collaboration with FIATA training programs.
Now, one question that comes up in every logistics conversation in India: costs. And he makes a point that it's not just about building more physical infrastructure.
Yes. He says if you only build assets, roads, terminals, corridors, but you don't fix processes, data flow, and financing, you end up with underused infrastructure and stubbornly high costs.
So what are his non-infrastructure levers?
Process redesign is a big one. Pre-arrival clearances, smoother one-window customs, less repetitive data entry. Then visibility, knowing where cargo actually is in real time reduces the expensive guessing game. And he brings up working capital and trade finance. MSME forwarders often suffer from delayed payments and high financing costs, which quietly inflate the overall cost of doing business.
And he circles back to paperless trade, because every manual step adds time, risk, and cost.
Exactly. Digital bills of lading, digital airway bills, e-manifests, those aren't just tech buzzwords. They cut friction. And he positions the EFBL as a real global example of that direction.
Last thing I want to hit, He comes from a legacy freight forwarding family, and he's very open about respecting that legacy while still pushing innovation. How does he explain that balancing act?
He says the core values don't change: relationships, integrity, grit, client service. But the methods have to evolve. He uses what he calls a 70-20-10 model. Most of the business runs on proven fundamentals. A chunk is continuous improvement, better systems, training, data, and a smaller portion is true experimentation, new tech, new models, new corridors.
I like that because it's honest. Not every day is a disrupt everything day. But if you don't reserve some space for innovation, you get stuck.
Exactly. And maybe that's the broad takeaway from this whole FIATA moment. India isn't just asking for a seat at the table. It's starting to shape what gets discussed at the table: digital standards, workforce skills, MSME inclusion, resilience through uncertainty.
And with global logistics getting more complex by the year, that influence could matter a lot. That's it for today. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back with another conversation from the world of trade and supply chains.
And for your time. This time until next time. This is Jeffrey saying, keep flying air cargo. And good night, Joe, wherever you are.